second. Give me a second. Pulling up some current market data that I want to talk to you about just for a little bit. And I get my slideshow back here. We'll be ready to go. And we're off. Happy Friday, everybody. Good to see you guys again. Jeff, were you on this morning,
Denny.
Recon? I don't know if I saw you.
No, I was at a listing appointment.
Well, don't let that happen again. So welcome, everybody. Denny Grimes. It is Friday, February 9th, and welcome to Mastery Roleplay. And I'll be letting people in. My co-host isn't here yet. If you're watching by my YouTube channel, which is Denny Grimes Mastery of Real Estate, we've got about 800 subscribers. If you'd like to subscribe, that'd be great. Want to join us? There's a QR code. Drop my table here a little bit so you can see it better. Take a picture of that. And also, many of you, as you know, we have a daily role play called Recon. And you may take a look at that as well and join us from 9:30 to 10 o'clock. I do work for Keller Williams. Many of you guys work for Keller Williams. And I was told today, and you're going to probably find out similar messages from your brokerage. Guess what we're not allowed to talk about anymore on role play right now?
Commissions.
Commissions. Keller Williams settled the suit, and part of that is, I don't know, I mean, I haven't seen the settlement. However, what's evolving, and I'm happy to talk about it on here. However, what's evolving is we're going to have to learn how to have conversations and teach conversations a little bit differently. And mom and pops probably don't have to worry about it. However, if you're a big company like Keller Williams, you do. So it is February 9th. And I was waiting for Louise. I don't know if Louise is coming on. Louise, are you hiding out there somewhere? Maybe, maybe not. Well, let me get it here. My thought of the day is this. I want you to look at some stats. Gary Keller talks about us being the local economist of choice. And I think we're overlooking something. And I don't pretend to know your market. However, I just feel in my bones, which reminds me of reading a book in elementary school. They use that term a lot. I want you to look at this. If you can look at it really fast, and if you can, I'll point out. This is a summary, 2003 versus 2002 summary of a market. I won't say which one. However, I want to point out, I'll just take one stat, like home sales. Right here, it says closed sales. Be able to read it. In 2022, they had 15,000 and change. In 2023, they had 13,000 and change, down 8%. Now, that's what the media will report. And that's what a lot of those infographics you see will report. However, what I want you to know on that one instance, I'll let these people in. On that one instance, what can you ascertain about the market? So start forming an opinion. I'm going to give you some more stats. I don't have them highlighted, so I'm going to point to them. All right. Median sales price was up 4.6%, right? 4.6% from 2002 2023. Sales are down, median price is up. Going down here, median time to contract, almost 100% change. Are you guys seeing your houses are staying on the market longer? So it went from 16 days to 31 days. And when you look at new listings, there's fewer new listings. However, the active listings is up 13%. So you get falling sales, a modest change on the sales price, and you're seeing homes stay on the market longer, and overall there's more inventory. What would be your blink on that market? Does that market sound like yours? Any comments on that?
Our market in San Diego is a little bit different. We're on the market normally right now, 2 weeks.
Okay. Remember, John, my co-host from Recon, said this week, whenever you want to look at a number, I want you to go back and put it in perspective. What was it? And when you say 2 weeks, you might be right. However, I want you to look at something. Just go back to the number of sales, down 8%. Well, what I did is I pulled the same market and look at the sales trend for the last 5 years. All right, 2023, 13,000, down 8%. But look what it was in 22, 15 and change, 19 and change, 18 and change, 17 and change, 17 and change. And we're going way down past the COVID years. You see, just because you can see the market's down 8%, that's on top of a 22% drop the year before, on top of a 7% drop the year before. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes we have to look a little bit behind the numbers. Because my daughter had a conversation with me. My daughter's one of my top listing agents, and saying, "Hey, look, you know, the sellers. I mean, the market's gone quiet here. What's going on?" And I thought, okay, well, I'm not out having appointments every day, so I did some research. And so our January sales last month, year over year, January. Okay, I looked at that. In fact, our sales in single family homes where I live in Fort Myers, Lee County, Florida, were the slowest month, not the slowest January, the slowest month we've had in 10 years. I challenge you to look at your market. Now, why could that be? Why are sales trending downward? There could be causes, and there's no wrong answer. I'm going to make one point. We're going to get into role play. Why do you think that's the case? Sales are slower in our markets here in Florida, and we just had the slowest January the slowest month we have ever had in 10 years.
Do these numbers include FSBOs?
No, this is MLS data.
Okay, so there could be more FSBOs out on the market than are being actually listed. I know
Okay.
there are a lot here, so.
Yeah, the thing is, Denny, if Florida is having those kind of numbers, that means here in New Jersey, we're having those kind of numbers because, you know, in reality, most people in the Northeast will move down south. Okay. And also what brings to mind is the interest rate that the people bought their homes a few years back.
Yeah. Well, that's part of my thesis there, Dan. I mean, for everyone to listen, Southwest Florida is not Afghanistan, and I'm not trying to pick on Afghanistan. We're a nice area.
Mm-hmm.
And if our market's doing this, there's a pretty good chance yours is too. I have a hard time believing, although I am teaching Boulder and Columbus, they've got Intel coming in there, I guess. Is it Intel, Jeff?
Correct. Intel, Amazon, and Google are all building here.
Well, just go ahead and brag a little bit. So they may not be sensitive. However, what else could be causing it? I'm going to tell you I'll tell you what the reason is and what the cure is, and you're in the right spot. So yeah, there could be some more for sale by owners out there, Garrett. However, I don't think they'd move the needle like that.
I got an idea, Denny,
What?
before you spill the beans, because I know you're going to tell us. I have a sense that it's the agents that either are not mastering scripts, not being honest with sellers, not able to have those kind of honest conversations, and just letting, you know, overpriced listings stay on the market for longer than really needed if there was an honest conversation or the ability of an agent.
Couldn't it be that the buyers are listening to what the news is saying, the Fed's saying that rates are going to come down, and they're sitting on the fence waiting for those rates to come down?
Well, you guys are on the right trail. Congratulations. You would win a Coopy doll if I had one. What I want you to understand is this. Let me add the last part of this question. Who controls the market? Buyers
and
Buyers.
sellers. Buyers and sellers.
Not both.
Buyers control
Buyers
the
do.
market.
Buyers control the market. And so if you see sales slowing, and then there could be, the interest rates have gone up. Yes. That's not the reason that sales are slowing. Sales are slowing is because the sellers are not capitulating to the temperature of the market. If any of your sellers would I'll just use something, cut their price in half, would you have any problem selling it?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Sales will
Nope.
pick up like that. So if a market slows, and this is what I want you to write down, because this will be a chapter in my book, one of the axioms. Ready? There's, and if, I don't know who's typing in notes, you can type it in there. Where's my Louise? There's never a shortage of buyers in any market. There's never a shortage of buyers in any market. There is only a shortage of realistic sellers.
So Danny, wouldn't that make both buyers and sellers? Because it takes both of them to make a market.
Well, that's like the chicken and egg argument, okay? However, theoretically, if you had no sellers out there that wanted to sell at any price, you wouldn't have a market. However, so I'll give you that. However, it's he who has a goal makes the rules. And so the buyers are always right. And so what I had to have a conversation with my team is I sent them my local stats, and we've got, you know, and I'm looking, we don't have expired listings very often. And I see we had 4 or 5 expired listings come at the end of the month. I'm thinking, whoa, wait a minute. Either we're not talking or they're not listing, or maybe a combination of both. So you see where I'm going with this, you guys? If a listing expires and one of your listings does not sell, because you're not talking or they're not listed. Fair enough?
Yep.
All right. Let's go to it. This is we can do anything you want here today. We can do at your table. We can do some conversations about that, about getting people into the right frame of mind, or we can do outbound calls. And I'm by myself, so I'm going to ask. Let's see here. Peggy, you're up there in the corner, and you've been around long enough. Maybe you could kind of help me keep an eye on the people that have their hands up.
Okay,
Fair enough?
sure. I'll
So
put my
Peggy-
hand down. I just
No,
wanted
you
to
can-
work, and that's good work.
No, you can go first. It's okay. So Peggy, what are we doing? And it looks like Garrett's next.
I'll do anything Garrett wants to do because I just want to do some work. I don't have anything specific on mind. If you do, Garrett?
So this is my first time on Mastery, so
Yes.
I figured I'd just throw myself in it. So I don't really know what to expect, how you guys go about it. So you take the lead, and I'll just kind of follow.
Okay, why don't you be a seller that's on the market right now, Garrett? And it's your listing, Peggy. And it's been 6 weeks. They're unhappy.
Okay.
Peggy,
Garrett?
I'm unhappy right now. I'm
Garrett,
not happy with.
I'm hearing hearing it. You're not happy. Let's get you happy, Garrett. Let's find out what it is that we're missing here on the market. So why don't we pull up everything that's on the market right now and what the most recent sales are, as we did when we first put the home on the market, and let's review what we see. How do you like that idea?
Well, I mean, you tell me. You're the expert.
I think that's a good idea. Let's look at what the reality of the market is here. And we're going to go through it. And then I want you to think about your property and what we have it listed at, and look at everything that's listed for the same price in our vicinity and see how we match up to that. Fair enough?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So Denny, what do you want me to do? I don't know what to do because this is normally what I do.
You've never had an unrealistic seller?
Not for a long time. I just sell properties in a week or two.
All right.
I have a way of helping them understand the reality of the market, and we successfully sell their home right away. So I really don't.
I would just take just come up with some examples of what's on the market and give it better features than your client's home, and then say, listen, this is priced the same as we are, but it has X, Y, and Z features, and it's under contract.
Okay. I got you, Lauren.
Do,
Yeah, thanks.
yeah,
Thank
do
you,
the
doctor.
3 outcomes.
Yeah, well, yeah, before you go further, showing them what's on the market, you can do that. However, guess what? Their freezer is not making ice. And you can show them that, listen, your neighbor's freezer is making ice, and the house across the street's making ice. What does that mean? I don't think, you can do that. However, why don't we just have a conversation about the truth? What's going on? And Garrett, you said 3 outcomes. I put it up here, and that's the right way to go. The only thing you need to know is if you have showings, low to no showings, showings and no offers, or it's selling, how do you have that conversation with the seller? And how do you have that conversation had you never used that sheet before? So anyone want to use the 3 outcome sheet on Garrett?
I can use it.
What-
I got
what
it
is
right in front of me.
Do you use it in your listings?
I haven't had any listings since I've been coming to Recon and getting this outcome thing. So
All right, well, good. Let's
I don't
hear
have
it.
experience with it
All
personally.
right, good. So you're at the table. Let's hear your rendition of Stairway to Heaven, the 3 outcome sheet.
Okay, you know, Garrett, there's gonna be 3 outcomes no matter what with your property. And would you mind if I review them with you right now?
Yeah, I know what you're gonna say, but go ahead.
You do you? Okay,
Yeah.
let's see if it matches up. That your property is either going to do one of these 3 things. It's going to receive very little action, low or no showings. It's going to have showings, but no offers, or your property will sell. Now, where do you see that you are with one of these 3 right now?
Hang on just a second. You're having a conversation with someone that's 6 weeks into it. It's not happy. So guess which outcome it isn't?
Receiving little action, no
No,
showings.
it's not. No, it hasn't sold.
It hasn't sold.
No,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So use some common sense. So obviously we haven't sold yet. So where do you think we are? Outcome 1 or outcome 2? Garrett, where are we? Outcome 1 or outcome 2?
Well, we've had a couple showings. I think that's good. I think we're at outcome 2. You just need to keep pushing the property.
Now, what if your seller has been on the market 6 weeks and they've had 2 showings? They were both 5 weeks ago.
We got to look at the price. I mean,
Well,
that's all I
that.
know.
However, here's my point. I'm not going to argue with him. If he thinks that's outcome 2, I'm going to say, all right, because guess what? The remedy is the same. It's just
Right.
how much you're going to reposition. So if we're in outcome 2, what's the answer then, Garrett?
Well, we need to get to outcome 3.
Yeah, that's our goal. And then why aren't we at 3?
Because we don't have enough showings. We need to get more showings so we can get offers in.
Right?
How do you think we can get more showings?
Right, lower the price.
Well, you control the show. Now watch this. You guys watch. Garrett, you control the showings, not me.
You control the showings, not me, Garrett.
Is there an echo?
Yes, there is. Talking to you, Garrett.
Well, yeah, but my neighbor's house, it sold for what I'm asking 2 months ago. So, me being close to there, I don't see why. I'm being ornery. I hope I'm
That's
not
okay.
being too ornery.
I got this. I got this. Hey, Garrett,
Yeah.
can you wear the same size pants you did in high school?
I'm close, but no.
Big liar.
Yeah, right. Well, the bottom line is, okay, what other ideas do you have, Garrett?
Well, I mean, you just need to go out there and push the property harder. You think you need to market the property more, spend some more money on advertising. I mean, you know what to do.
Yeah, you're going to get sellers going down that road. Anyone want to take it? Now, Peggy, thanks for your help. Who wants to take that? Because they're no, not you, Peggy. Let's
No, I
go.
know.
Let other people play. Who wants to take that?
Oh, hey, how's it going? Oh my gosh, she got a haircut. She did. Oh, beautiful. I might actually give it to one of my clients. They just they're
Somebody may have to mute themselves. Okay.
that's really exciting.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
Garrett.
I have a.
Yes, I'm here.
No.
So you want me to go out and find a buyer that wants to pay more than it's worth? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, I want to get the money that I was told you I wanted to net.
Okay, I get that. So you've told me already you're selling your house here in Fort Myers and you're moving to Wellington, right?
Yeah.
So
Yes,
when you're
that is
looking at
correct.
homes in Wellington, if an agent came up to you and said, listen, I've got an awesome home for you, come take a look at it. It's been on the market for 2 months. It's overpriced, but it's really nice. What could I say to you to make you even want to look at it, let alone buy it?
Even though it's overpriced, that the sellers are motivated to sell.
No, my sellers are smoking sweet and low. They're not even in reality. What would you do? What could I say to make you go look at that home, Garrett?
There's a gold mine underneath the house.
So you want me to lie to them?
Yeah, I got you.
So shoot me straight. What would cause you to pay more for a house than it's worth?
I mean, I wouldn't.
Okay, but that's what you're asking me to do.
So you don't think my house is worth $450?
Well, that's the market value. Clearly, the market has spoken, and the market's saying no. So you have two choices: reposition so the market will accept your home, or stay here. Now I'm going to stop. I'm not going to keep going. I want to know when we get into these situations, you either have these tough conversations, you figure out what tough is to you. However, you either have these conversations or get ready for that listing to expire.
Okay.
And let's try it again. I know who out there has some listings that they want to learn how to get a little tougher, a little bit more, care and candor, with maybe the candor part capitalized. Is that you, Garrett?
Yeah, that's fine.
Well, I thought you had been.
Janet has her hand up. Janet Bloodworth.
All right, Janet, you are.
It says Arnay, Janet. I don't know.
That's right. Hang on. Garrett, you're going to Janet.
Am I the agent or am I the
You're
seller?
the agent.
Janet, you're muted. Oh, you're not controlling it? I don't know. Janet can't do it right now.
All right. That's all right.
Got it.
Let's see who's next.
Oh, there it is.
Samantha.
She got it. John.
I have to figure out
Janet
how
got
to
it.
navigate this.
Janet, you're the seller. Garrett, go.
Janet, thanks for sitting down with me. I understand you're a little upset or you're unhappy with the current results, and I totally get it. With that being said, what I wanted to do was I wanted to go through the 3 outcomes with you. Okay. Do you remember us talking about this when we first listed the house?
Yes, exactly. We just talked about it 2 weeks ago.
Fantastic. And the biggest thing is, my goal is to make sure you're happy. But I don't determine the price. The market determines the price. So Janet, situation 1, we're getting little to no showings.
Hang on a minute, Garrett. I'm going to interrupt you. Keep your train of thought. Is
Okay.
your goal to make, let me ask you this, is your goal to make them happy?
Get the home
Absolutely.
sold.
No.
Drop that
No.
from your vocabulary. That's not your goal. Because if that's your goal, then they'll expire and they'll be unhappy anyway. What is your goal?
Get the home sold.
Sold.
You help them get what? Moved. Get them the highest return of equity in the time they have available. And again, I'm not coming down on you, Garrett. It's just, if we say that, just not thinking. Remember, this is mastery. I want you to think deeper. Look, that's our goal. If you want me to be happy, then sell my house for more than what it's worth. I'll love you then. I'll name my next baby after you.
No, the biggest and just to be a devil's advocate, I just say, my goal is to make you happy. And what would make you happy? To get the home sold. Okay.
No,
so that's
no, they're gonna
I
say
get what
I want this number for my house. What wouldn't it be
Okay.
better? And you guys vote on this. My goal is to get you to Wellington. That's what you want, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, Germany.
Your goal should be tied to their motivation.
Right.
Happiness may not even come into it. In fact, you can't even find happy in the Bible. So, Garrett, you don't have to review the 3 outcomes like she doesn't know it. Now you have already gone over it. You're sitting there. You're already a minute into it. How do you have the conversation? I'll set it up for you. It's 6 weeks on the market. There's been 3 showings.
So So Janet, it's been 6 weeks on the market. We've had 3 showings.
Yep.
Now, with that being said, which category are we in? Do you think?
Category 2.
Okay. But the goal is to get in category 3, right?
Correct.
Okay. So how do we get to category 3?
Sounds like we're gonna have to adjust the price.
Yeah, and I hate to say that because, like I said,
Stop. Why do you hate to say that?
because of the simple fact I like to try to get my clients the most amount of money.
Well, can you get them more than it's worth?
No.
Then take that out. Quit taking that
Okay.
position.
Yeah.
It's like the doctor saying,
Okay.
well, yeah, I know we're gonna have to pull that tooth. I hate to have to pull that tooth. What you're
Okay.
attempting, it's okay. I'm talking to everyone. What you're attempting to do is to cuddle them and then have them like you. They will like you when you help them get moved to Wellington.
Right.
So now here's one thing you can say. What can you say? What can you say and get away with it every time? What do you hate?
Well, not achieving their goal.
Blame it on the
No.
market.
No, I hate this market.
Oh, blame it on the market. Okay.
And well, wait a minute. Who can we blame it on? The market.
The market. Right.
Hey,
'Cause-
listen, I wish the market would give you what you want, but that's the market. So now when you say that, this is deeper than you think. It's you and your seller against who?
The market.
The market's the enemy, not you. The market is speaking to you and your seller. It's not you speaking to your seller. Remember, 100% of our listings will sell if we listen to what? The market, and the sellers listen to us. So I want you to mentally think like you guys are arm in arm, you and the seller, and the market is dictating the marching orders. So that's what we're doing here in Mastery. Just going to get a little bit deeper. So Garrett, keep going. I'm going to let you land the plane. She's at outcome 2, then what?
So the goal is to get to outcome 3, correct?
Yeah, I need to get to Germany.
Awesome. And my goal is to get you to Germany as well. So how do we get to outcome 3?
Well, we discussed adjusting the price 10,000 if it didn't move in 3 weeks. So here it is, 3 weeks. I guess we'll just readjust.
Fantastic. All right.
Thank you. Let's
All right, no, I'm not done. I'm gonna Janet, thank you. Yeah, Janet, I'm gonna take over. All right, so we're gonna lower it 10 grand. So do you think that'll get it sold, Garrett?
I'm gonna be a little bit tougher. I'll be like, unfortunately, due to where the market is going, and I hate the way the market is going. I think it would be more beneficial to go to 15.
and I think you're right.
Stop it, Janet. Stop it.
No, I was just doing the math. I'm sorry.
No. Now what you've done is put your fingerprints on the market, on the price.
Okay.
You have just put your fingerprints on 15. And now when you have the conversation in 2 weeks and there's been no showings, whose price did not work?
Is
I get it.
I'm going to give you the answer. Will $10,000 reduction do it? Well, I can tell you one of 3 things will happen.
That's right. Okay.
Sound familiar?
Mhm.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
How about where would you price it, Garrett? I'm going to be the seller. Where would you price it? You're my agent. We're at 420 and I'm going to go down to 410. Where would you put it?
I put it at 399. Just get the property sold.
Oh,
no. Don't put your fingerprints on that price.
15 burpees for you now.
Okay.
Okay.
What's the answer?
Can I try? I mean, the response that comes to me is, listen, these are some homes that are similar to your homes on the market. Take a look at these prices. Where do you think we should price it to get your home to sell?
That's perfect. And that go back to now you show them what the comps are. The comps are, I don't use that word with a client, what the past sales are, where the actives, and you can and help them determine it. Now, one thing that I thought about, and I think when I'm running, and I might not have done a good job with you guys, So hear me on this. When you go and have a listing presentation, when I let them pick the numbers, I'm not walking in there, putting my books down and say, okay, what price do you want? No, that's like you walk into the doctors and say, okay, well, the doctor says, well, what's wrong with you? And what pill do you want? Show them everything you know. This is what's sold. This is actives. Basically, you give them some market stats if you want. We are the expert. Now you say, based on that, where would you like to position? So I just don't walk in and say, pick a number. The same is true on a repositioning. For example, if they had 2 showings in 6 weeks, what if the showings were the first week and they haven't had any showings for the last 5 weeks? Does that make a difference?
Yes.
So all your conversations are going to be, how many showings have we had since our last meeting a week or 2 ago? The cumulative showings don't matter. That should be a light bulb for some people.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it again.
So I got a question for you, Danny. Let's just say, what should we price it at? And she says, I think we should price it at 410, but you believe that you should price it at 399. How would you go about that?
Fair enough. I would say, okay, well, here's the thing I know, Garrett. It's a step in the right direction. I say this all the time. I've memorized it. What we've known, in fact, I was on a listing presentation. You guys didn't tell you this week, a $2.2 million listing. I got the listing, and the seller was an agent in this market. Anyway, she was asking me all these things and about pricing, and here's why I told you that. It's been on the market 200 days. They started at 3 something, now they're down to 2 something. And she said, well, why don't you go do your research and tell us where we should put it? And you know me, I'm going to practice what I preach. I said, there's no research to be done. Your home has already been exposed to the market. And we've learned 2 valuable lessons. Can anyone finish this sentence? I say it all the time. Who can finish that sentence?
Market sells the house.
We've learned 2 valuable lessons. Number 1, the market's saying no at 2.3. And the second one is we can eliminate every price from there up. So where do you want to go down to? And, all right, this is exactly what happened. This is a $2.3 million listing. You know what she said? What if we go down 20,000? I mean, it's only human nature, folks. Sellers don't like taking medicine any more than we do. And so what do you say to that? Help me. I mean, I'll keep going, but you guys aren't wanting to play today. What would you say?
I mean, you could always say yes, and then, whip out the 3 outcomes and go from there.
You could, however, what's interesting, and in our MLS, I don't know if it happens in your MLS, you can go back to the listing history and you can see where it was listed and price changes. I have seen some agents lower $1 at a time, so it comes up on the hot sheet, like they're gonna like that. That's their marketing method. Anyway, I said, well, in a $2 million listing, I don't think $20,000 is going to really cut it. So the way I would answer the $10,000 one, Garrett, I say, well, okay, so I'll tell you what, I don't know where the market is. That's in the right direction. However, one of 3 things will happen. However, do you know what you know what the worst thing is that can happen between now and next week when we meet?
Nothing.
Property doesn't get sold.
Worse. Come on,
A property
guys.
similar to yours sells in that meantime.
No,
Or under contract?
no, another house comes on the market and those sellers are in reality and they listed at 385.
It's on the market, yeah.
Now there's downward pressure on the market and you're chasing the slinky going down the steps. And oh, by the way, I mean, and again, I'm not talking numbers. I'm just saying, okay, now the $10,000 is a step in the right direction. I don't know if it'll move the needle. However, let's go back. You said you wanted to be in Wellington by August, whatever. So talk to me, you guys. Are you hearing some things that you can practically use? I mean, you're not talking to me, and I don't know if I'm connecting.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
it makes
no,
it makes real sense because since you and I have been coaching, you've beat it into my head not to take ownership of the pricing. And then, we were talking yesterday, I told you that I had to do a reduction with, or an adjustment with one of my clients. And it's just helping them to understand, even though they forked out over $14,000 in repairs from the previous offer. I think it's just having those honest conversations with our clients, but also not taking ownership of the price. It's not my price, it's their price. And I think that's really been a wee bit of a mind shift for me.
Yes, and the other thing that I said here, thanks, Senator. The other thing I said here that I don't think I've ever said before, but I think it's really important. If you can create the boogeyman, and the boogeyman is the market, then you can actually be on the seller's side.
Yeah.
It's not you and the seller doing this. It's like, hey, listen, they got the money. It's a golden rule. He who has a goal makes the rules, and and you'll have to demonstrate your marketing is working. However, I think you're going to have a better opportunity to work with them and them work with you if they sense that you have a common enemy, and it's called the market. All right, maybe I'm beating a dead market. Okay, who's next? Dr. Lauren's up, and
Lauren and Tanner.
Tanner just swoops in.
Of course he does. Of course he does.
At an appointment. Sorry about that. A little late. I couldn't make it early.
Nobody else wants to play. Wait a minute now. Where's Kevin? Jeffrey, can you play?
I'll play.
Who's Jeffrey?
Jeff's up there. He's my buddy from Columbus. He might be muted.
a good
Jay, you've been animated. You want to play? I'll get you, Tanner, too.
I can play if nobody's there. I can play.
All right, Jay. So, Dr. Lauren, you are the agent, and this is Friday. We can do anything you want. What we've been working on, obviously, is having tough conversations with sellers. And let's see if you can do it. So I think you get it at a high level. Jay, you're a seller at the table. You've been on the market 18 days, and you've had 5 showings, and you're upset with Lauren. Go.
Hi there, Lauren.
Yes. Jay, I'm coming to understand that you're a little bit upset at where we are today. We've had, your home's been on the market for 18 days. You've had 5 showings and no offers. Tell me more. What more would you like to be seeing at this point?
I mean, you said you're gonna sell this baby pretty quick. So tell me, how soon can you get it sold? I mean, what else you need to do? I'm sure you're the expert, right? More advertising, more marketing, more open house, whatever you want. Just do it and get us sold.
Wonderful. And I appreciate that, Jay. I definitely appreciate your perspective on that. Remember those 3 outcome sheets that we talked about when we first met during our listing appointment?
I do, but can you just kind of refresh my memory? Tell me again.
Absolutely. So outcome number 1 is that we have little to no showings. Okay. Outcome number 2 is that we have a decent amount of showings, but no offers or very low offers. And then outcome number 3 is that the house sells, right? Obviously, we know we're not in outcome number 3. Based off of what we know about the number of showings we had, where do you feel we fall between outcome 1 or outcome number 2?
I mean, we had some showing, right? So there was activity, right? So I'm looking at this outcome 2, what you're talking about, right?
Okay, some showings. We haven't had any offers yet. So where does that really put us?
You just said that too.
Oh, yeah, he said 2. Sorry, I didn't hear that. Okay, so outcome number 2, great. Outcome number 2, what would be our next strategy to get us to outcome number 3?
Now you tell me again. So outcome number 2, we said we had 5 showings, and I had no showing in the last 5 days. The 5 showings were very early part of whatever you mentioned, right? It was when the open house 2 weekends ago. Was it right?
Yep, 2 weekends ago, we had lots of people in.
So did you kind of follow up with those guys, or just kind of, you said you were to market and reach out to those guys? Any feedback from that?
Absolutely. So I reached out to everyone that showed up, the 25 people that showed up to the open house 2 weekends ago. And unfortunately, they, looking at what they found in your home, they decided to move in a different direction. They said that the price was a little bit too high. So what do you think of that?
I hate to cut down the price of my house. You said you can sell it for handsome money, but tell me what do you think? I mean, maybe we go with the price. I want to get it sold. I have another property which I need to move in, but again, I don't want to give my home away, you know.
I completely understand that. But what I also heard you say is that you are open to dropping the price so that we can reach outcome number 3. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's what I heard from my friend. They dropped the price, but they still got whatever they dropped on and more. So can we do that?
Listen, I can't make any guarantees. The market's really going to tell us what your home is going to be.
Dr. Lauren,
Yes,
he's right. Why do you keep talking?
He's right. Yes, he's right there. We can drop the price and then get it sold.
Hang on, no. So, all right, yes, we're outcome 2. At one point you said, what's the strategy? What does strategy represent? Something different we can do. There must be another marketing strategy. Don't use that. What remedy? There's only one remedy. It's called what?
Pricing.
It's called repositioning.
Repositioning.
So Jay, we're in outcome 2. What's the remedy?
Outcome 2, the remedy is to get it sold by dropping the price.
Right. And where would you like to reposition? You had him. He was waiting for that. That's the question. Right. So I'll land the plane. Where would you like to reposition, Jay?
My home, we're okay with a 25K drop. That should be fine. You think that should work and you can get it sold?
So you want to go from 100,000 down to 75?
Yeah.
Oh, guys, I'm kidding.
I mean, as long as you get me more than that, I want to make sure
So you want to go from 550 to 525?
550 to 525. Yeah, that's better.
Okay. Now, when I just said okay,
yep.
You got to be careful. Just because he said the number, you've got to make sure you don't put your seal of approval on it.
Right.
Okay. Well, that's a step in the right direction. 1 of 3 things will happen.
And what would that be? You said 1 of 3 things will happen. Same thing again. Are you talking about the 3 outcomes? Is that?
That's right. In fact, when we're done with this, Jay, you won't know me as Denny. You're just going to know me as Mr. 3 Outcomes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I hope you get it done this time. I want to make sure we meet next week and you give us the good news. We're right. Just ready to make a payment on the other house.
Believe me, your follow-up calls get a whole lot easier if you just start with sending a picture of this form that they've initialed. All right, this next week, Jay, there's the 3 outcome sheet. We've had 1 showing. Where are we?
Number 1, number 2 again.
Okay, what's the remedy?
Reposition. And
what's your number? What's a record? It doesn't have to be a complicated conversation.
Right.
The only thing you have to be careful of and make sure you do is that you have to have your analytics from the marketing. So, okay, Jay, before that, let me show you. During this last week, we had a $25,000 drop. You notice we have the number of lookups came up. We were running about 130 a week. We went to 160. We've had 17 people now take the virtual tour when before we're averaging 5 a week. So here's your line. Write this down. So the marketing is working. The reposition was working. We were getting more eyeballs on it, but we're still outcome 2. So you just can't walk in there and say, yeah, you've got to give them some update. Here's the new homes for sale. This one went pending, blah, blah, blah. Now, I'll tell you what we'll do, Tanner. This is what I want you to do. You're going to be the agent. Same scenario. It's been on the market 5 weeks. We had 5 showings. I just lowered it to 525. Only had 1 showing. And a house down the street that's not as nice as mine just went pending, and they're at 550. Have you ever had that scenario happen? Oh, yes, you have. Tanner, you're the agent. I'm the seller.
All right. Hey, Denny, good day. I'm getting back to you as promised to go over the marketing activities for your house. And before I start, did you get my outcome sheet again? I just texted it to you that we go over.
Oh my gosh, Tanner, yes, I've got that sheet memorized. Just get to the point.
Got it, Denny. So based on the activity, we had only 1 showing, Denny. And again, I have to ask you honestly, what do you think we're standing?
Well, I also heard my neighbor's house down there, the one that basically has all the orange sponge painting all over the ceiling, just sold, and they were asking $500,000. It's not as nice as mine. So I'm a little wondering if you're doing your job.
I understand, Danny, and just remind me of like the reason you wanted to move, whatever you want to move. How soon did you want to make that move?
But wait a minute. Now you're going to go down that road. I'm just telling you my neighbor's house sold, and now you want to go back to my motivation. You're not connecting with me at all.
I am. I was gonna first. Okay, so just gonna take it from there then. So Denny, actually, isn't that a big concern
What?
that your neighbors sold before you?
Darn tootin', it's a big concern. I mean, my house is 300 square foot bigger, and I've got the workbench. I'm throwing in my avocado green beer fridge in the garage. What the heck? Maybe I've got the wrong listing agent.
Well, Denny, as you see, the marketing clearly works, but the greater concern here is it seems like another neighbor might come up just in the market like this one with the same amenities, even maybe better, and reposition it at lower price.
They were 500. I'm sorry. They were 550, and I'm at 525. What gives?
Oh, they sold before you?
They came in on the market in the last week at 550, higher than me, and they're already sold. I think we lowered our price too soon. I think we need to raise it back up. Hey, listen, guys, I've had hundreds of sellers tell me that.
Okay.
My $2 million listing this week said maybe we're too low.
Is it possible that those buyers, while they were looking at that home, they also noticed your home as well for sale?
Well, I don't know. That's why I want to have a little sit down fireside chat with you, buddy.
Thank you. Typically, when you shop for homes, you want to make sure you see everything in the neighborhood. And I mean, we could tell, it was exposed, and very likely they saw it, but
I'm going to have you stop. Clearly, you are lost.
I am. This was just reversed. I haven't played this.
Yeah, we call you snowbirds down here in Florida. They don't know where they're going, so they're in the left lane driving slow with their right-hand signal on. So, who's had to deal with that? It happens. How do you deal with it?
I had a deal that the next home sold for way more than we sold, and then, it was not a good situation. Same home.
Well, let's talk about what happens. What happens in that situation, you guys? Rika, do you have an opinion on that? Z?
Well, one thing, it's pending, it's not actually sold. So we don't know what it's actually going to sell at. And I liked how Tanner went down the same direction. Your home was on the same time that home was on, but they chose that home. So if your home was the better outcome because yours was priced better, don't you think they would have went to your house first?
Yeah, but don't you think the seller can say, but wait a minute, maybe they have a better agent? That's why I asked you when you originally listed, I wanted you to accompany all showings so you could point out the cat shower in the utility room and my wife's sponge painting on the ceiling. Yeah, I need someone to sell my house. And that other agent probably sold it to the other buyer. You guys, am I not telling? Does this not happen to you guys?
Definitely.
It does. You got to be able to handle this conversation. Rika, you got your hand up. Z,
I mean, I like the milk example on this one. I think the milk example works. Sorry.
What's the milk one?
The milk one is, hey, listen, if you have $2 milk at the Piggly Wiggly and a $5.50 dollar milk at the ShopRite, and I go to the ShopRite and say, this is the best milk ever, and I have Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders and a blimp, and everyone's out there and they're marketing it. But you can get a $2 milk down the street. Are you going to buy the $5.50 milk, or are you going to buy the $2 milk?
Dr. Lauren, this house was listed above mine.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this one was listed above yours, same quality?
Well, did sellers think that there was a better house out there? No, my house is, I've updated the bathrooms.
Yeah.
I took the carpet out of the master bath.
Yep.
Well, I have a question. Did you like depersonalize it? Like, is it still like cluttered? Did you clean it? Because that plays a factor too, doesn't it? By the way, I've never had a listing, so.
Well, again, if it's 5 weeks in and you haven't schooled them on how to show it, then if it hasn't been decluttered and you haven't mentioned it, you're going to be in trouble with that one. And I decluttered. I left my bowling trophies out. I just am very proud of those.
So buyers buy house, when they're buying, they are comparison shopping, right? And I had a situation, Mr. Seller, when one of the other neighbors bought the house for my seller. They paid absolutely more money because they wanted to be in that location. So I don't know what happened out there. Your home shows excellent. The marketing is working. The reposition is working. Let's see what the market is telling us so we can get it sold. You want to be the next sold home, right?
Yeah.
Well, you think we should raise it up, Jay?
I absolutely not. I would. The market has spoken that even as a house is sold, we're still getting a lot of views, and we have some more events happening. We could reposition maybe a step lower as well to get more people in the door and create the auction effect. What do you think?
Well, that was a pretty long statement. Where's the question?
The question is, okay.
Let me ask you something. The people
Oh,
let me ask you something. The people that reverse search your property or saved your property on Zillow, if your property goes up 25,000, if you were the buyer, what would you do?
Well, all right. That would be a fair question.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's a good question. Flip it on him. Open-ended as well.
Understand this metaphor. I know we use the fishing metaphor. Let's just change it for a moment. Let's use drilling for oil. So if you didn't hit oil at this level and you keep going down, what good is it to raise the bid up again? Because you know there's no oil there. We've already drilled in that area. So if you lost your keys and you've looked at every drawer in your dresser, would you go back and look at every drawer in your dresser again or go somewhere else? And by the way, in the last week, that house sold. However, we had one showing. So that might be an outlier, or they might. I've had people in my career, there's certain nationalities that there's something magic about the number of the address, or it's across the street from someone they know, a grandbaby or something like that. There can be some intangibles that cause outlier effects. Write that word down, an outlier. So going back to you, Tanner, you're the seller. So that one buyer preferred that house. I don't, and I don't even know. You could find out. It wouldn't matter. They may or may not have looked at our house. However, they know they saw it because their agent is on the market. My concern is, what about the other 75 buyers that basically were looking online that did not choose your house? So I might shift anything can happen once. And you'll find outliers all the time. And so you explain that away. Like, for example, the seller may say to you, well, we've had 7 showings, Tanner, and you know what? You're my listing agent. You've not shown it once. Who wants to handle that?
What was the question again? I'm so sorry, Danny.
Tanner is you're my agent. So you're my agent, and I'm saying, hey, listen, it's been on the market 5 or 6 weeks. We've had 7 showings. See, however, you and no one from your office has shown it once.
Well, I understand. No, let me take that back. Okay, I understand you saying no one from my office have shown it. However, other people, my goodness. However, your house may not have been suitable for their clients.
Yeah, but are you making points for the seller? Why are the other offices showing it? And I hired you because I knew you had a reputation, and you haven't even shown it. See.
Well, the other companies are showing it because of the other company. Don't you think that other company are showing it because of the marketing I have done? Don't you agree?
Now, okay, you're on a good lane. Where's the question?
Do you think that I have done enough marketing for your home?
No, don't ask that. They'll always say no.
No, I know.
Say, why do you think those agents have shown your home?
Right. Lead them to the answer. To be like, well, it's because you must have marketed it to them.
Because I'm marketing to, and by the way, didn't you say you wanted qualified buyers?
Yep.
We're working with many buyers. However, we're not showing it because we're not going to bring in a buyer looking for something else into your home. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Last thing. Oh, by the way, I know you're focused on those 7 showings, and those 7 showings were 7 different agents. Oh, one agent had showed it twice. All right. Here's my question. Here's what I want you to focus on. There's 3,000 agents in our marketplace, and only 7 look at your home. I'm concerned about that. And if they're concerned about you not showing it, well, let me, if we have 3,000 agents in the marketplace, what's the problem? And you compare me, and there's only 7 buyers that wanted to look at it. What's the probability I have those versus the 3,000 agents? If we were in a tug of war, who would be winning that match? So you've got to put things in perspective. And I used to, when I was blowing and going, I would have a conversation up front with them and saying, listen, you know, the chances are we're going to have more people from outside of my company or even me show this house because there's 7,000 of them. And the fact that they'll be showing would be due to my marketing. It's okay if I market to other agents, isn't it? So you can have a conversation with them ahead of time. Now, if you're not getting the objection, don't worry about it. However, I've had it plenty of times. So, kind of feel like a Baptist church or preacher in an empty church. You talking to me. Did anybody make me feel good? Did you have an aha? Did anyone have an aha today on this conversation?
Yes.
Yeah, I think going back to that and talking about the number of agents in your market area, that was something that I heard new today, and I would almost include that as one of the things to mention as a part of the presentation or are part of the seller consultation once I've had them agree to sign with me, almost preempting that conversation. Similar to the 3 outcomes as well, just to put it out there, not make a big deal of it, but just say, hey, listen, there's 3,000 agents in our blah, blah, blah. And we also talked about how many times you have to market a property, right? You have to market it to brokers and to buyers and then go through that whole skit. So I like that idea of talking about the number of agents in the market area.
Thank you. Anybody else learn something?
Yeah, I like the idea right from the outset. In case you're taking a listing you think is still overpriced, you might still talk about the 3 outcomes and tell them, you know, this is what's going to happen, and prepare them for next time so that you're just not struggling and kind of laying the groundwork upfront.
Thank you, Jay.
Hey.
One more. Anybody else?
Yes,
Denny.
there's never a shortage of buyers, only a shortage of motivated sellers.
Yes, that's key, you guys.
Janet wanted to say something.
10,000.
Yeah, Janet.
Hey, I like the transition. $10,000 is a step in the right direction. I like that.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, it is Friday. It must be happy hour somewhere. And if I can add value to you, have any questions, Coach Denny Grimes at Gmail. And if you haven't been to my YouTube channel, Denny Grimes Mastery of Real Estate, go ahead and subscribe. I'm over 800 now. My goal is 900 next, then 1,000, then 20 million. All right. Love you. Meet it. Nothing but careful out there.
Great, Denny. Thanks. Thanks, Denny.
Thank you.
Bye.
Find out.